Mu Yingying struggled to get the words out. He's very strong. Xiao Yan responded calmly. I know. Only my sacred flame can hurt him. Mu Yingying said, stubbornness creeping into her voice. Do you know? Xiao Yan interrupted her without much concern. What is the true purpose of cultivation? Huh. Mu Yingying was puzzled by Xiao Yan's question. She couldn't understand why, in the midst of a battle, he would bring up such a topic. The purpose of cultivation should be to strive for the highest realm, right? Mu Yingying glanced at the black-clad man, who was still healing his wounds, and spoke in a serious tone. I don't have such lofty aspirations. Xiao Yan smiled faintly. For me, cultivation is only about protecting others. What? Mu Yingying was utterly confused by Xiao Yan's words, but a foreboding feeling suddenly rose within her. SSHHH. The black-clad man's sinister voice broke the moment. Little girl, your sacred flame really hurt me. His face twisted into a hideous expression. Even though he had used high-grade healing medicine, Mu Yingying's seemingly simple attack had inflicted severe damage on him. It looks like it won't heal anytime soon. He sneered. For that, you'll pay with your life. The black-clad man then transformed into a deathly figure, wielding a massive axe as he charged toward Xiao Yan and Mu Yingying. Xiao Yan! Mu Yingying exclaimed. Get out of the way. If you don't, we'll both die here. She saw the black-clad man's renewed attack and shouted coldly. It's me. Not you. Xiao Yan's voice softly appeared by Mu Yingying's ear. Netherworld heavenly wrath. Just as Mu Yingying was still confused, an immense soul shockwave erupted from Xiao Yan. Mu Yingying wasn't sure what Xiao Yan was planning, but at this point, she had no other choice. She tried to summon her sacred flame again to resist the black-clad man, but she suddenly felt a soft impact on her soul sea. This gentle impact momentarily distracted her, leaving her dazed. In the next moment, Mu Yingying found herself immobilized by Xiao Yan's unexpected soul attack. Xiao Yan had planned everything. He immediately channeled his powerful Do Qi and launched a fierce attack at one of the passages of the 9 fish playing with dragon array. At the same time, he supported Mu Yingying and sent her into a space ripple. In the blink of an eye, a slight fracture appeared at one of the array's passageways. Before long, the undulating space reappeared, and Mu Yingying was thrown into the departing passage. Just as the passage was about to close, Mu Yingying regained her senses. Her eyes, filled with disbelief, locked onto Xiao Yan through the narrowing gap. Xiao Yan! You bastard! Her voice, mixed with fury, echoed in the space. In the next moment, Mu Yingying could no longer hold back her tears. They flooded from her beautiful eyes like a river. Hurry up and go. Xiao Yan's voice rang out for the last time as the passage fully closed. Don't waste my good intentions. With the passage sealed, the milky white flames surrounding Mu Yingying carried her weakened body toward the exit. Everything Xiao Yan had done happened in the blink of an eye, so the black-clad man only saw Mu Yingying vanish into thin air, catching a glimpse of the fractured spatial passage. Cough, cough. Xiao Yan smiled weakly. Just in time. SSHHH. You're courting death. The black-clad man roared, lifting his enormous axe and viciously slashing at Xiao Yan. Even though they were in the Xinling royal family's domain, where entry was possible but exit was not even someone as powerful as him, a perfect 8-star Do D, could break through the passage. His anger surged. Xiao Yan didn't have time to escape. He quickly raised his ancient ruler of heavenly flames to block the black-clad man's terrifying attack. Boom, boom, boom. The black-clad man's giant axe collided with Xiao Yan's ruler, and in the next moment, a portion of the ruler was dented from the tremendous force of the blow. Swish! Xiao Yan was forcefully knocked back several dozen meters by the black-clad man's strike. Even though the ancient ruler absorbed much of the impact, the remaining power was too much for Xiao Yan to handle. Cough, cough. Xiao Yan spat out a mouthful of blood. A perfect 8-star Do D truly lives up to their reputation. Brat. The black-clad man's face twisted with fury as he glared at Xiao Yan. What did you do? He couldn't believe that a lamb within his grasp had escaped from the hands of a mighty enshrined elder of the Xinling royal family, a perfect 8-star Do-D. If word got out, he would be a laughingstock. What made matters worse was that Mu Yingying still possessed the sacred flame. Now that she had escaped, he might never have another chance to obtain it. Seething with rage, the black-clad man glared at Xiao Yan, gritting his teeth in fury. He wanted nothing more than to tear Xiao Yan apart. Humph! Xiao Yan replied indifferently. For a high elder of the Xinling royal family to bully a defenseless girl, anyone would find that despicable. You brat! The black-clad man snarled, his expression dark. You've brought this on yourself. I was considering letting you live after I absorbed her sacred flame, but now I see you're dead set on getting yourself killed. If that's the case, I'll grant your wish. I'll use ghostly chi from the ghost realm to torment you, make you wish for death, and let you understand that crossing the Xinling royal family was your biggest mistake. The black-clad man's aura surged as he spoke, forming an ominous force before him. The aura was sinister and eerie, identical to the ghostly chi Xiao Yan had encountered in the forest of corpses. It seems like the Xinling royal family has some unspeakable ties with the ghost realm, Xiao Yan muttered. The black-clad man ignored Xiao Yan's comment and concentrated on gathering his terrifying ghostly chi. Since Xiao Yan had chosen death, he would use this opportunity to torture him to death, making him suffer unimaginable pain. Elder Zhu, why haven't Xiao Yan and the others come out yet? Mu Feng asked anxiously as he and Elder Zhu waited near the entrance to the underground palace. Today was the day everyone would exit the Xinling Imperial Pool, and Mu Feng had lived up to expectations by breaking through to the early 5-star Do-D level. As for the two brothers from the Xinling royal family, they had emerged not long after entering, looking utterly defeated, as if they had been expelled by someone else. They should be coming out soon, Elder Zhu replied lazily, glancing at the entrance to the underground palace. Strange. I sense a familiar aura inside. Could it be someone from the enshrined hall? Maybe it's just my imagination. Elder Zhu shook his head and continued to wait. Meanwhile, back inside the 9 fish playing with Dragon Array, Xiao Yan noticed that as the black-clad man continued to gather ghostly chi, an overwhelming pressure began to spread from him, filling the space. This pressure was so intense that Xiao Yan nearly buckled under it, barely holding on through sheer willpower. Damn it! Xiao Yan cursed under his breath. This perfect 8-star Do-D is incredibly difficult to deal with. Could this be the end for me today? He muttered in self-mockery, yet he refused to give up without a fight. In Xiao Yan's hand, the ancient ruler of heavenly flames, which had been dented by the black-clad man's attack, reformed. Long E, the ruler's spirit, fused with the ruler, enhancing its power. The next moment, a mysterious rune on Xiao Yan's palm began to emit a dark glow. This is the Soul-Devouring Talisman. Xiao Yan suddenly realized. The Soul-Devouring Talisman is a powerful weapon from the ghost realm, capable of incredible effects against ghostly creatures. Long E explained calmly. It seems there's still a sliver of hope. Xiao Yan's eyes deepened with newfound determination, and the flame mantra within him began to operate at high speed. At this point, Xiao Yan couldn't afford to hold anything back. Even if he had to use every last bit of his strength, he would do whatever it took to create an explosion powerful enough to escape from here. With the flame mantra surging through him, a scorching wave of energy enveloped Xiao Yan's body. He infused this energy into the ancient ruler of heavenly flames, and the dark light from the soul-devouring talisman slowly seeped into the ruler as well. The ruler absorbed the power of the soul-devouring talisman, combining it with the fiery Do-Chi refined through the flame mantra. The ruler turned a vibrant green as 23 colors of flame began to swirl around it. A terrifying aura began to brew in Xiao Yan's hands, but as this power gathered, his body tensed with the strain. Meanwhile, the black-clad man condensed ghostly chi around him, forming a massive, sinister skull in front of him. The skull was pitch black, exuding a chilling and eerie presence. Its eyes flickered with an unsettling green light, and ghostly chi seeped from its mouth and nose, sending shivers down Xiao Yan's spine. What a terrifying aura! If we're only talking about the density of Do Qi and ghostly Qi, even 10 of me wouldn't stand a chance against him. But when it comes to ghostly Qi, Xiao Yan smiled grimly, continuing to gather Do Qi in his hands. This time, he was ready to risk everything. Facing the full-force attack of the perfect 8-star Do Di, even the ghostly Qi bore down on him with unprecedented pressure. This might be my only chance. Xiao Yan furrowed his brow, and from the depths of his soul sea, a shadow identical to him emerged, slipping away unnoticed by the black-clad man, making its way toward the passage. Under a carefully disguised aura, this Xiao Yan clone went undetected, though it began striking the exit of the passage with all its might. Xiao Yan's strategy was clear. Stall the black-clad man to buy himself time to escape. He knew that a perfect 8-star Do Di was no easy opponent, and in his current state as a perfect 4-star Do Di, he had no chance of winning. Fortunately, Xiao Yan had the Soul-Devouring Talisman in hand, which was specifically effective against ghostly Qi, giving him a small chance of survival. SSHHH. Brat, die with regret, the black-clad man roared. The massive black skull surrounding him let out an ear-piercing shriek, sending deadly sound waves crashing toward Xiao Yan. Cough, cough. Despite facing such a terrifying attack, Xiao Yan made no effort to dodge. Instead, he muttered under his breath, just a little more. He knew this was his only shot. If this attack failed, he would be doomed to die here today. The skull's evil sound waves rattled Xiao Yan, making him cough up blood. A powerful dizziness overcame him, clouding his mind. Here we go. Xiao Yan shouted internally. The ancient ruler of heavenly flames in his hand had absorbed nearly all his Do Qi, but it still needed a bit more time to fully charge. At that moment, Long Yi separated from the ruler and spoke to Xiao Yan. Let me help. Long Yi understood that if Xiao Yan fell today, his own fate would be grim, so he decided to throw everything into this battle as well. Instantly, he detached from the ruler and transformed into a flaming dragon that emerged within the 9 fish playing with dragon array. Long Yi immediately charged toward the black skull, engaging it in combat. However, Xiao Yan could tell that Long Yi was at a disadvantage and wouldn't last long. No matter what you do today, the black-clad man sneered, you won't escape death. I can sense that the flames within you are quite remarkable. Hand them over, and maybe I'll spare your life, he taunted. Xiao Yan ignored the man's provocations. Long Yi had bought him precious time, and he couldn't waste it. The next moment, Xiao Yan gathered every ounce of power within him. First, the milky white flame containing the strength of 23 different heavenly flames flowed into the ancient ruler of heavenly flames. The ruler, now vibrant green, began to emit an overwhelming power. Then, the black energy of the soul-devouring talisman poured into the ruler, swirling around it and mixing with the green flames. Finally, Xiao Yan's soul power surged forth, along with every bit of strength he could muster, all of it focused on the ancient ruler of heavenly flames. When I trained in the 7-layered Skybreaker ruler technique, I only mastered the first layer. Let's hope this works. Xiao Yan glanced down at the ruler in his hand, now gleaming with shades of green and black, and muttered to himself. It seemed as though the ruler heard his call, sending a faint sense of joy through Xiao Yan's body. However, he was too focused on the black-clad man to notice. 7-layered Skybreaker ruler. 5th layer, Dragon's Head. Xiao Yan's eyes narrowed, and with a mighty roar, a colossal Do Qi dragon, shimmering with multiple colors, burst forth from the ancient ruler of heavenly flames. With its gaping maw, the dragon charged straight at the terrifying green skull radiating ghostly Qi. SSHHH. As Xiao Yan's shout echoed, the ancient ruler of heavenly flames glowed even more vibrantly green, sending a gentle yet powerful energy coursing back into Xiao Yan's body. By now, Xiao Yan's body was thoroughly exhausted. His entire being showed signs of overexertion. His muscles weakened, his skin pale, and his body trembling from the strain. Blood covered his form, and even his face had taken on a ghostly pallor. It was clear he had pushed his body to the limit, channeling every last drop of Do Qi. The veins on Xiao Yan's arm bulged as a wave of madness surged through his pupils. Boom, boom. Boom! The giant dragon, formed by the convergence of multiple forces, raised its proud head in Xiao Yan's hands, glancing down at the green skull with disdain, as if it were a ruler surveying its subjects, completely disregarding the skull's presence. Shoo! The green skull seemed to sense the dragon's extraordinary power, emitting an ear-piercing shriek. "Boy, stop your futile resistance," the black-clad man sneered. "This is the first layer of our Xinling royal family's underground palace. Even I can't break through the space here, unless you're a peak Do-D. No matter what you try, you won't escape." He had realized Xiao Yan was stalling for time, but his tone was relaxed, confident that victory was his. There was no need to rush the fight. The black-clad man didn't even intensify his attacks. He was sure that his green skull would be more than enough to kill Xiao Yan. As a high-ranking enshrined elder of the Xinling royal family and a perfect 8-star Do-D, there was no concern in his mind that Xiao Yan had any means of escape. "Dragon's head?" Xiao Yan roared suddenly. The dragon around him opened its massive mouth and shot toward the green skull at full speed, the terrifying heat of its colorful scales and the black aura surrounding it creating a menacing sight. "What's with that strange black aura on the dragon?" the black-clad man muttered, his pupils narrowing as if recognizing something familiar. As soon as Xiao Yan's attack was unleashed, the green skull trembled, seemingly filled with a deep fear. Cough, cough. Just as Xiao Yan finished speaking, a mouthful of blood sprayed from his lips. The strain of mobilizing all his internal energy at once had clearly taken a heavy toll on him. "Does an ant dare to challenge the brilliance of the moon?" the black-clad man scoffed, still dismissing Xiao Yan's attack. Though the black aura on the dragon seemed unusual, he wasn't overly concerned. The gap in power was too large. There was no way Xiao Yan could overcome it. In the next moment, the dragon's blood-red mouth lunged toward the green skull, attempting to devour it in one bite. The green skull, possessing a high level of intelligence, recognized the danger posed by the dragon and did not let down its guard. A strange green energy began seeping from its mouth and nose as it fiercely clashed with the dragon's attack. The dragon's ferocious maw latched onto the green energy surrounding the skull. Shoo! Both Xiao Yan and the black-clad man found themselves locked in a stalemate, neither side willing to give an inch. But in the next moment, the energy between the dragon and the green skull exploded violently. Bang! 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 The unstoppable dragon shattered the green energy with one bite and surged forward to attack the skull. Shoo! The black-clad man finally realized that this was Xiao Yan's all-out attack. Muttering an incantation under his breath, he unleashed an even greater amount of ghostly energy, which surged into the skull. As a result, the skull rapidly expanded, growing to several dozen meters in size within a few breaths. A towering evil aura filled the entire space of the 9 fish playing with dragon array, and at that moment, Xiao Yan felt his breathing become labored under the oppressive force. Shoo! The skull, now empowered by the black-clad man's ghostly energy, accelerated. The dragon's massive jaws missed as it tried to clamp down on the skull. "It's over," the black-clad man said calmly as the dragon's bite missed. "Not yet." Xiao Yan, refusing to admit defeat, gathered the last vestiges of his Do-Chi, and with a roar, shouted, "Break!" In response to Xiao Yan's command, the dragon quickly twisted its head and snapped its blood-red jaws onto the green skull. Boom! 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 A terrifying shockwave rippled through the space. Strangely, when the dragon bit into the skull, which had been radiating evil, suddenly lost its vitality. It didn't even resist as the dragon's jaws tore into it. What no one noticed was that as the dragon bit into the skull, the strange black aura on the dragon began to seep into the skull, contributing to the overwhelming destructive power of the attack. "Damn it!" the black-clad man exclaimed, startled. "What's happening?" The skull was his creation. If it were damaged, the backlash would be devastating. Bang! 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 A milky white flame suddenly ignited in the dragon's eyes as it clamped down harder. The skull shattered like glass, dissolving into countless fragments that scattered across the space. "Aha!" The black-clad man roared in pain as blood sprayed from his mouth. The backlash from the shattered skull severely injured him. His aura flickered violently, indicating the tremendous damage he had just suffered. "Why aren't you dead yet?" he screamed, his eyes bloodshot. In a fit of rage, he rushed toward the weakened Xiao Yan, his hand engulfed in a deadly power that radiated pure death. Shoo! With a swift motion, he struck at Xiao Yan, only to see Xiao Yan's body disintegrate into a puff of white smoke. A clone? The black-clad man's eyes widened in disbelief. Cough, cough. Remember this day. I, Xiao Yan, will repay this 100-fold. Xiao Yan's voice echoed, his breath weak as he spat out another mouthful of blood. The 7-layered Skybreaker ruler had pushed his body to its absolute limit. At the same time, outside the passage, a finger-sized crack in space was forcefully pried open by the other Xiao Yan clone. Not good. The black-clad man suddenly realized what was happening and rushed toward the place where Xiao Yan had been. "Farewell," Xiao Yan said with a grin as he vanished into a stream of light, disappearing from the space. "Damn it! Damn it!" The black-clad man cursed as he reached the exit, only to watch the spatial crack heal itself. "Damn brat! I miscalculated this time." The black-clad man covered his face with his hood again, his tone filled with frustration. Even he hadn't expected Xiao Yan to remain so calm under such dire circumstances. If it were an ordinary person, they would have died 10 times over by now. But Xiao Yan now knows that I possess Ghost Realm energy. Could this become a serious problem? And how could he, with just the strength of a perfect 4-star Do-D, destroy my skull? The black-clad man murmured to himself, still puzzled. There must be something strange about him. Mu Yingying's sacred flame won't be so easily let go. He really did manage to kill the twin ghost emperors. The black-clad man muttered softly, shaking his head before finally sitting down to heal himself. The destruction of his skull by Xiao Yan had left him with significant internal injuries, so he wasted no time in focusing on his recovery. Cough, cough. In the spatial passage, Xiao Yan limped towards the exit, his body battered and bruised. The pressure from a perfect 8-star Do-D was immense, and had it not been for the mysterious power of the Soul-Devouring Talisman, along with the black-clad man's arrogance in not using his full strength from the beginning, Xiao Yan would have been in grave danger. If things had gotten worse, he would have been forced to use the Xiao clan's ancestral mark, a move that would have certainly alerted powerful figures across the realm. Fortunately, things hadn't reached that point. Cough, cough. Xiao Yan staggered through the passage, eventually reaching the spatial teleportation array. The spirit of Long Yi, attached to the ancient ruler of heavenly flames, emitted a faint power, activating the array. Rest assured, the next time we meet that Xinling royal family enshrined elder, he'll pay dearly. Long Yi's voice faded as he retreated back into the ruler. The teleportation array activated and slowly began transporting Xiao Yan away. Master! That's... At the entrance of the underground palace, Mu Feng noticed a familiar figure and exclaimed with joy. What's going on? Elder Zhu, who had been watching lazily, suddenly moved with ghostly speed, appearing next to the collapsing figure of Mu Yingying in an instant. Help! Help Xiao Yan! Mu Yingying used the last of her strength to say these words before her eyes fluttered shut and she fell unconscious, her body collapsing to the ground. Elder Zhu swiftly caught her, his eyes narrowing as he noticed the numerous wounds all over her body. Instantly, he channeled a gentle power to heal her injuries, then turned to Mu Feng and commanded, "Take care of her." After giving his orders, Elder Zhu's aura flared with fury, erupting at the entrance of the underground palace. Without wasting another moment, he rushed toward the entrance, determined to find Xiao Yan. If Mu Yingying, with her mid-5-star Do-D strength, had been so severely injured, it didn't bode well for Xiao Yan. Please, sir, stay calm. Perhaps things aren't as they seem. A military officer with a tiger insignia on his shoulder stepped forward and respectfully addressed Elder Zhu. Even someone of his rank knew not to anger such a powerful figure. After all, Elder Zhu was well known. He had once single-handedly fought the entire Dragon Devourer Legion. Compared to that, the Tiger Fang Legion was nothing. Hmph! Elder Zhu snorted in anger. What's left to explain? My disciple from the Incense Pavilion has been harmed on Xinling royal family's territory, and there's nothing more to discuss. Without any hesitation, Elder Zhu's aura surged as he prepared to storm into the underground palace. Sir, you cannot just barge into the forbidden grounds of the Xinling royal family. By rights, we have the authority to. The officer with the tiger insignia began to explain, but Elder Zhu silenced him with a cold roar, ignoring him as he rushed toward the underground palace. Someone is invading the forbidden grounds of the underground palace. Form ranks. The officer shouted, knowing full well that even gathering all their forces would be futile against Elder Zhu. But as soldiers, they had no choice but to obey orders, even if it meant certain death. Move aside. Elder Zhu's voice rumbled like thunder, and the soldiers were knocked back by the sheer force of his command. Without pausing, Elder Zhu surged toward the palace entrance, a look of determination on his face. Xiao Yan, you'd better be alive, he muttered. I've finally found someone worthy of inheriting my legacy. Notify the royal family. Someone has invaded the forbidden grounds. One of the fallen soldiers murmured helplessly as a carrier falcon shot off towards the Xinling royal palace. Inside the underground palace, Xiao Yan had just left the 9 fish playing with Dragon Array and arrived at the spatial teleportation array on the first level. Strange, this is clearly the first level of the underground palace, but why isn't there a path leading deeper? Xiao Yan murmured as he scanned his surroundings with his senses. Forget it, better to head back for now. He shook his head in frustration and made his way toward the exit. In his current state, with his energy fluctuating wildly and his injuries severe, if he didn't stabilize his condition soon, it would greatly hinder his future cultivation. Ha! So it's you. A clear voice suddenly rang out as Elder Zhu was about to step into the palace. Step aside. Elder Zhu barked coldly, not breaking his stride. And why should I? The voice replied, calm and steady. This is the territory of the Xinling royal family, after all. You're being a bit too reckless, don't you think, Zhu Jin? As the voice emerged, Mu Feng and the others caught sight of an old man with a withered face and white hair. Dressed in simple gray robes, the man exuded a faint yet terrifying aura. That aura. He's definitely a strong expert, above the level of an 8-star Do D. Mu Feng thought in shock. Such an expert, no matter where they were in the mystic 3 heavens, would be treated as a guest of honor by any faction. Since this happened on our royal family's grounds, we'll give you an explanation, the gray-robed elder said flatly. However, the Xinling Imperial Pool is known to be dangerous. Your disciple may have been injured by one of the mysterious creatures residing there. Do you want to die? Before the gray-robed elder could finish his sentence, Elder Zhu's body erupted with a world-ending aura. The once clear skies above turned dark and ominous, as clouds gathered and lightning crackled in the heavens. At that moment, it was as though the entire world trembled before his overwhelming power.